amigos y amigas, arrancamos con este vídeo una serie que va a ser bastante amplia, dirigidos a acercarnos a la historia de la sociedad teosófica española. Por estos vídeos van a pasar distintas personas, teósofos y teósofas, que nos van a ir acercando precisamente a esa historia desde muy distintas perspectivas. Algunos de ellos entrarán directamente en lo que es la historia de la sociedad teosófica, son teósofos españoles. Otros son teósofos que vienen de otros sitios, que nos aportarán su visión, por ejemplo, en la interrelación entre América Latina y España desde el punto de vista teosófico. Contaremos en ese sentido con hombres y mujeres que han cruzado el charco y que actualmente desarrollan la actividad teosófica en España, pero que vienen de países como México o como Argentina, y también se van a incorporar personas que vienen de otras partes del mundo. Nos ha parecido necesario, conveniente, yo diría que casi obligatorio, comenzar esta serie de vídeos con la presencia de ni más ni menos que el presidente de la Sociedad Teosófica Internacional, es decir, la persona que en estos momentos tiene el testigo, tiene la antorcha de lo que fue la Sociedad Teosófica creada por los fundadores, entre ellos Blavatsky, Olcott, Yaz, etc., en 1875, y que esa sociedad sigue viva, sigue realizando su actividad, y actualmente su presidente, Tim es la persona que tenemos con nosotros. Él va a dirigiros unas palabras, unas reflexiones, tanto desde el punto de vista de lo que es la teosofía y la sociedad teosófica, como también sus propias experiencias personales en el ámbito precisamente de la teosofía. Le agradecemos mucho que haya tenido la deferencia con nosotros de estar aquí, de arrancar esta serie de vídeos, y a partir de estos momentos os dejo con él. Muchas gracias, Tim. Thank you very much.
The Theosophical Society has been around now for about 142 years at the time that we're speaking. It was founded in New York City, which was one of the largest urban areas in the world at that time, and also it was an English-speaking area. I think that's rather important for the spread of theosophy that has taken place since. But it was founded with one principal object, although it had three, but the main object was to focus the intelligence of humanity, to place certain seeds into the minds of global humanity about the importance and the meaning of unity, to form a nucleus of the universal brotherhood of humanity was the language of that time. It was a movement that had its beginnings in the United States, but really came to life when it moved and took root in India. In India, during British colonial times, it was something where the Indian population found itself suppressed, both in its political expression, but as well in its religious and spiritual expression. And it was something that was rather unusual for Westerners to find themselves in India, but Westerners who had great value and understanding of the nature of the spirituality that was there. And so when it found its way to India is when this society really came to life and started to be noted worldwide. It attracted some of the greatest minds of that era, people who investigated it, some who promoted it, some who found that it was lacking and didn't measure up to their standards of what it should be. But it caught the attention of the world, and then this movement began. It's something that now finds itself in countries all around the world, largely because of its embrace of not just the value of the religions of the world, but because of its statement, an unequivocal statement, that all of the religions essentially come from one source. Like fingers pointing at the moon, each one indicates a direction. For the Theosophical Society, we think in terms of a study of religion, science, and philosophy, the three main avenues of inquiry into the nature of truth. And so this is something that has been ongoing. The nature of the human being, our constitution that is multi-dimensional, is also something that is of great importance. Everybody is aware that we have a body, emotions, and a mind, but beyond that, many people ask questions as to what lies beyond. In Theosophy, it's a distinct discussion of that, but more importantly than discussion, Theosophy is basically experiential. It's something that can be tested, can be verified, and the real fruits of this testing, of this verification, find their way in service to humanity. People who really understand are the ones who understand that it is one life and that we share that life. So along the time of its history, it has been very active in many areas of this type. Particularly in the Indian subcontinent, the Theosophical Society is most highly regarded, largely because of its role in Indian independence. It's not just something that is an internal, personal self-development. Theosophists, at the time of the founding of the Indian National Congress, it was Theosophical Society members who actually founded this. Annie Besant, its second international president, went on to become the president of the Indian National Congress, preceding Gandhi. And so it's been something that has had a great impact in political spheres, scientific spheres, worldwide. It continues to do so. It has spawned a number of leaders in a number of different areas. In the world of poetry, there's William Butler Yeats, the scientific community. All communities have been touched by its influence. And so today it's something that really, the focus has been in introducing many concepts about the nature of the inner life. But now I think these concepts have become quite widespread, worldwide. Such formerly foreign ideas as karma, reincarnation, meditation. These sorts of ideas were thought of as exotic at one point. No longer is that the case anywhere in the world. Now, of course, the element for which this society came into being was not just to communicate ideas, very valuable, but that's not what it was here for. Now, of course, the element of application. How do these truths apply in the lives of ourselves as individuals so that the world, with its many problems, in many ways it seems as if there's a convergence of the ancient wisdom with the modern sorts of problems that are cresting at this moment. And so the great need now is for how do we apply these things in such a way that these elusive terms such as peace, harmony, brotherhood can actually be made real in the lives of individuals and collectively. That's the challenge before us now. Not that there are not the tools to do it, not that there are not the concepts that embrace the entire idea of what this is all about. At this point, there is sufficient knowledge in the world to address and to solve every problem that humanity faces. Ecological change, wars that are fought, economic imbalances, political imbalances, all of these things we have answers for. What this says to me, where we have the knowledge, where we have the answers, and yet where they remain unapplied, clearly there's some other component that is missing. Knowledge is not enough. So the ageless wisdom, Teosofía, the wisdom like that of the gods, divine, is the element within ourselves that remains to be not just discovered. I think everybody is aware of the presence of something more. The question is, do we apply our knowledge that we have, combine it with the will to move deeper? And in that case, where that appears, there is the hope of bright promise for the world. And this is the direction. This is the founding principle for which this society really came into being. Over the course of the Theosophical Society's history, it has been involved with many well-known personages in the world. Of course, the Dalai Lama is one of those. In one of his books, he comments on his first encounter with the Theosophical Society and with its ideas. The Dalai Lama, when he was 21 years old, had traveled nowhere outside of Tibet. Now we think of him as an iconic spiritual figure, but in 1956, he was a 21-year-old Lama who had not had any experience of the rest of the world. On his first trip outside of Tibet, he came to India, and it was there that he described his experience at the Theosophical Society. It was something where for the first time, the way he describes it, he encountered a group of people who not merely valued the religions of others, but saw in them a common core, a thread that ran throughout all of them. He said his time and his experience with the Theosophical Society and the people there was such that when he returned to Tibet, in his words, he returned as a changed man. So it was something that has had an impact, certainly in his life, as well as in others. Along the course of the Theosophical Society's history, there have been many truly great people who have come out of this movement. Some of the names with which many people are familiar would be ones like Jiddu Krishnamurti, Rudolf Steiner, William Quan Judge. These are all people who have been actively involved as Theosophical Society members, who cultivated a vision of this inner truth that became very particular to themselves. So much so that they felt that they had to form another society to give expression to this sort of idea. To the minds of many, these various ways of expressing this limitless one truth, many people have seen as splits, as divides, as things that have separated this one movement. That's been one way of looking at it that many people have bought into. My personal view is and has been that there is no one way of expressing truth that can limit it. So when you have people with deep inner experiences who have required a more expansive platform for that expression, it's something that I have always felt has expanded this message rather than divided it. Today, many of these organizations that have come from the same root are finding their way back together. Not to form a common organization, that's not the point of it, but to actually share the various points of view. In Indian spirituality, there's the idea that there are 8 different darshans, 8 different approaches to truth. The image that is portrayed is of 8 different points around the circle, each one looking toward the one center. In that sort of image, the one looking from this direction and the one looking from that direction would appear to be in opposition, but they both look toward the same center. And I think this is the idea that is becoming quite well recognized now. And it holds great promise, this level of cooperation and shared insight.